Aaron Shriver. Aaron is a huge fan of country music star Eric Church and is a member of his fan base, the Church Choir. Aaron has attended and continues to attend as many shows as possible, and along the way, he meets some incredible people. Each week, he'll introduce you to a fellow choir member, and together, they will share their awesome stories and life adventures. It's time to meet one of them right now. Ladies and gentlemen, here's your host and choir director for the Gainin Memphis podcast, Aaron Shriver.
What is up again, everybody? I figured we'd try to go live a little bit earlier tonight so I can make sure any kinks were worked out or anything. I am wearing a black shirt tonight. I'm just going to let you know. It totally looks purple, but old school church. Found it while I was cleaning out the closet, and I could actually fit in it again. So I'm pretty excited. So welcome to a show that I've really been looking forward to ever since I started booking these shows. It was a must. I had to have a show for Matt, and he was a good friend to all of us. And dude's heart was so huge, and he didn't know how many friends he really had in the choir and outside the choir and everything else. And I'm really excited for tonight's show. We got some really cool surprises. A surprise guest is going to show up tonight, which is really cool because it's been somebody I wanted on this podcast for a while now. And all right, everybody's coming in. I'm liking this. So first off, I gotta go ahead and do my thing and tell all my sponsors. I'm presented by Arlo Revolution, cinematic wedding films, music videos, and promos. Thanks, Arlo. He's a good friend of ours, choir member. Also to Janet and Joel. Both of their logos you can see here on the screen, Art on Hirewire and Janet Slope Creative. Check them out on Facebook. Just amazing work both of them are doing, and both choir members and Canadian choir members that I love. Just amazing people. One other thing I wanted to talk about and just get off and get out there and that we could talk about is my good friend Eric Gordon has a fundraiser going on pretty much in the joint for his Desperate Man print, and his story, you got to go on the joint and read this. His story is just phenomenal, and it touches home, and that's why we're really helping him push it, because for years my wife and I tried to have a kid and we couldn't do it, and we finally had to do the treatment, and I know what they're going through, and it's really rough, and a lot of you guys have been out there and you've been through it. So if you guys just buy one spot or whatever you can do to help these guys out and get a little bit closer so they could do this, go check out the joint on Facebook. It's a great place, a good safe place to buy, sell anything, trade. Got some good admins over there. We just added Rob, and he's been doing a great job over there too. So I'm excited, but go check it out. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. You guys want to have some fun though? You guys want to get to my main guest and just jump into it? I'm ready. I mean, it's a little early, but I'm just ready to do it. Let's go. All right, you ready, man? Let's bring on Mr. Ed Walsh. There he is. What's
How's it
up,
going,
buddy?
everybody?
All right. So, welcome to the show. Johnson is on board right now. Look at this.
Awesome.
Welcome to the show,
was
man.
just
I've been
checking out.
anxious to have you for a while now. So, I
Oh,
love it.
it's been anxious to be on here, and I was just actually listening to Chris's podcast before the show, just catching up on some that I've missed.
Yeah, his was a good one. His was a really good one.
I gotta say that I don't disagree with much of that he said.
He has good taste in music, you know.
Absolutely.
So, but let's go ahead and let's start off. Everybody knows you are the brother to our friend Matthew Walsh, that was pretty infamous within the choir.
Yeah.
But you were always a bigger fan, though, right?
No, absolutely not. I can't say that I was a bigger fan. I would say we were absolutely equals when it come to that. He was just a lot more active in all the media and everything else. I'm not on Facebook very much. I don't do a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm on there, just not that often. He was always on there. He was always giving people a hard time. He loved that, obviously, because everybody knows that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I can't say that either one of us was a bigger fan than the other.
Okay. So who discovered him church first between you and Matt? Did you guys probably around the same time, or who had the CD first, or who stole it from the other?
Simultaneously at the same time. This is actually a truly amazing story, and this is man, I I feel like church is like the better looking, more talented in like everything of me. Like everything he puts out, I feel like he's taking a page out of my life, and
Mm-hmm.
he just does it, and
Yep.
he's got that grace. How we discovered him, uh, man, he had it was 2006. Two Pink Lines was on the radio. Yeah, we heard it and everything, but never really grabbed you, or anything like that. We were down in St. Louis. We live in South Bend, Indiana. I actually live in Dowagiac, Michigan, but
Mm-hmm.
my dad's from St. Louis, or East St. Louis, Illinois, and my granddad was not doing well. He was in his final days. Hospice was at the house and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
So we went down there to visit my grandpa, um, and say our goodbyes and everything else. Uh, months, like 9 months prior to this, my family's huge Bob Seger fans, like the whole family, even
Yeah.
my kids. They can sing every
Yeah.
Bob Seger song that there is.
What's your favorite Seger
Man, that's hard.
song?
Probably "Shame on the Moon."
What was that?
"Shame on the Moon."
All right. See, I like "Roll Me Away," man. That's one of my favorites. I always liked it because I heard that's the one first church. First time I ever heard church cover Seeger was "Roll Me Away," and I was like, "Oh, this guy's." That's what sold me on it. So I'm like, "Yep, all right."
I grew up in a Walsh family, so I didn't have no choice.
Yeah,
But
true, right?
to go back, I mean, we were going down there. Most of my family down there. My dad's dead middle of 9 kids. He had
Mhm.
4 older, 4 younger, and my grandpa wasn't doing well. 9 months prior, half the family already had tickets to go see Seeger down there in St. Louis. Uh, Me and my brother are down there. My mom and dad are already down there, and we're checking things out. And I happen, listen to KC 95, down in St. Louis. What's up,
Yep.
peeps? And they came on and said, man, Seeger's not sold out. There's tickets available, to come see the show tonight. And I called my brother because we weren't together at that moment. And I
Mhm.
was like, dude, there's tickets for tonight's show, man, and half the family's already going. He was like, well, let's go. I was like, man, I said, I'm busted, man. I don't have it. He was like, well, Merry Christmas, we're going. He said, come
Oh.
pick me up.
Uh,
So we go down there and we're walking. We're gonna go up to the will call and buy tickets. And this guy like brushes my shoulder walking by and says, I got ninth row. And I was like, what?
you always like those guys.
Yeah, I was like, what? He's like, I got ninth row. I was like, what do you want? He was like, face value, man. He says, somebody backed out, just come, And a cop walked up. He was like, man, he said, guys, do it a little more inconspicuous. Take it across the street. Make it look like you guys are buddies or something. So that was cool. He didn't arrest us. But so yeah, we bought tickets, and next thing you know, we're sitting ninth row, and church opened up.
Yep.
And I mean, he grabbed us, just absolutely grabbed us.
That was my dad's first church show. I took him to Cincinnati, Ohio, and it was the first night Eric actually opened for Seeger. And his set on that Seeger tour, I mean, would probably made a lot of fans back in the day because I think that was his first time really playing out of his element, like and not playing within our country act. So he's playing with a rock legend, pretty much.
Oh yeah.
And so he was in front of a whole new fan. So it was cool because like my dad and I went. So my dad loved Seeger. I loved church. It was kind of cool. It was my first time seeing Seeger, his first time seeing church. So I mean, that tour I think really made a lot of fans, and it's cool I mean, your story starts on the Seeger tours because that was probably I think that was one of Eric's first really big stepping stones that he had to get where he's at now.
Well, we were having a great time. He was rocking it out. Um, I think Driver had the mohawk and everything. It was like, man, what is this guy up here? This guy's playing country, and this guy's over here headbanging.
Mhm.
This is awesome. And what said it? What said it was, when he played Sinners.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, me and my brother, we sat there and we soaked in every bit of it. And his passion on stage, first off, that's truly what got it.
Yeah.
Because his passion even back then was just second to none.
Mhm.
And but when he did Sinners, every single word me and my brother were hanging on, and it was just like he was singing to us. And it was literally, we're sitting ninth row, everybody else is sitting down, and we stood up, never seen him before, and we stood up, and it was just
I
amazing.
got chased out. I had this camera and it had one of the longer lenses on it, but it was all one camera. It wasn't detachable or anything. And I walked up the aisle and got right in front of the stage, started taking some pictures, and security chased me all the way back to my seat. Yeah, it was a fun night. So after the Seeger tour, that was what, 2007 or 6?
We seen him in 2000. We seen him in December of 2006.
Yeah.
A day. I think we
Yep.
left. We left the next day, and halfway home from St. Louis, my dad called me and said that my granddad had passed. So we got all the way home, and that's when Sinners, really took hold.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, back then we were, scrambling trying to figure out how to play, his music. I was like, man, I want that song. I gotta have it.
Oh yeah, dude. Before She Does was the first song I heard, but you hear that one song and you got to have more and hear more. And I agree, Sinners was one that just, it was like kind of like you said, he almost like he was in your life and writing like your life story. And you go to the next track, and you're like, all right, this is starting to get a little creepy, because like, is this guy just how does he know all the crap I'm going through right now, or how does he know what I'm dealing with right now? And then he writes a song called The Hard Way, and you're like, oh man, all the lessons I've learned the hard way. But yeah, hey man, cheers too. We got some Busch Lights out tonight, so if anybody's out there drinking a Busch Light, let's do a quick cheers for our buddy Matt. So going on down from,
I'm rocking Sonny's our guy.
Oh, there you go. Mine's, I got one back on the wall somewhere. I always try to get two of everything. One I could use and one I could put.
First time I've ever drank out of this cup. My brother brought it back from Texas, so everybody that met my brother down in Texas, man, here's to you guys, man. He had a blast.
Dude, he was a star. We have a
I'm sure he don't remember much of it,
But oh my God, this is one of the funniest things. People were sending me stuff to post or to share tonight, and a lot of the stuff that wasn't like good quality or like a screenshot or something I couldn't really use, but I saved one. And I think it was Staples that posted this. Let me get rid of this picture real quick. And if you can't see it, but it says most people are packing up and leaving while Matt Walsh is booking another night. So, there he was in Texas, and everybody else is trying to check out and leave for the weekend. And here he is in swimming trunks and says, one more night. He wasn't ready, man. He was happy. He was really happy in Texas because I think he was around really close people that mattered to him. And it was nothing. We were all family. And that's why, the page that Staples runs and is a family reunion. It still feels that it has that family aspect that we've been doing every year and just doing different things. It started with Texas, and what Staples has been doing has been amazing. Just amazing work. Throwing these fundraisers together, and Walsh really loved Texas. I'm going to tell you, we'll get in some stories, but we might have to save some for the post show because we might not be able to save some for live. But I got to tell you about a story, and we'll save it for either later. We'll see. Luggage cart. Just remind me, luggage cart.
I think I heard this story actually.
All right, well, we won't talk about it then. But yeah, it was
pieces of it anyways.
Yeah, but he welcomed everybody, and I gotta tell you, man, your parents raised you all right, because if he's a reflection of his kindness of the family name, yeah, cheers to that. So
he's amplified, whatever it is, whether it's good, bad, this, that, or the other, he is the amplified version of all of it.
Oh yeah.
If it's bad in our world, yeah, he represents it very, very well. And if it's good, like the heart. There's I mean, dude, I come from a great family of givers, and we don't have anything, but I mean, we'll give
Mhm.
you anything. And my brother will take it a step further and literally give you the shirt off his back. I've actually got a story about that.
We got to definitely get to that. It was funny. My wife and I are kind of like purging the house, and this past weekend, I was just going through a bunch of stuff, and she was going through a stack of papers and mostly bills, but I don't know how old they are. And in the middle of all of it, she pulls up this paper and she goes, "Aaron, what's this from?" And she holds it up, and it's upstairs. I wish I would have had it, but it was your brother's. It was your address in Granger, Indiana, and everything else. I'm like, why would this show up the week? Like, I'm a superstitious guy and stuff
Yep.
like that. I'm like, why would this show up the week I'm gonna be doing this show? And like, I was like sitting at my kitchen table prepping for this show on Sunday when she finds this. I'm like, this is weird. So, but she's like, "Do you want me to throw it away?" I'm like, "No, we're gonna keep that." So I'm gonna bring it down. I'm gonna put it on my church wall. So
Awesome.
I don't know what I ever sent him, but I'm just gonna hang on to it. I think he wrote out his address for something. So, but I saw this picture. We got to talk about this. You sent me this picture over, and it looks like Joe's bar.
That's exactly Joe's bar, and I'm glad you brought that up. Now, this is actually off Joe's bar's website. Neither
Yeah.
one of us actually took this, but and I'm like I said, I'm so glad you brought this up. This is going to be a bit of a story.
Well, you see me in the
Um,
front row, don't you?
are you? I'm actually in there. If you look
I'm
way
right.
over on the extreme right,
You can't
I'm
see, but I'm
actually in there.
pretty much dead center in the front row of that show.
Awesome,
That's
man.
why when you sent it over, I'm like, we got to talk about this. I'm like, I want to know how was there that night.
Yeah, so was I. We weren't the lucky ones that got that got the picked the guaranteed spots.
Yeah.
But how that all went down, you obviously the 6 shows, 2 days, completely
Hmm.
free, just show up. So I want to give a shout out to Fireball. I have no idea what her real name is. We just called her Fireball. she was she was from like the Valparaiso, Maryville area.
Hmm.
But we met her standing in line. And me and my brother, we were. It was amazing. It was just an amazing experience. So he announced that he was doing these, and
Hmm.
me and Matt are going
The,
back and
the
forth.
Outsiders tour, right? Or right before the Outsiders.
It was Mr. Misunderstood.
No,
Was
it
it?
was Outsiders because Mr.
No, it
Understood
was
was
it was
the
it was Outsiders.
yeah, it was Outsiders because
It
it was when
it
he
was
did the private jet. He did the two acoustic and
right.
then one full band. Yeah.
So, me and Matt are kicking around. We're like, well, he's got to do these, places. They got to be close together. Maybe we can hit all three stops in one day. They got to be within a bus. I was like, Indianapolis, Chicago. I was like, he can hit Indy and,
Hmm.
65 straight up. Never in a million years guessing that he was, oh, no, I've got a jet. So,
That's
uh,
the first time he showed off the jet.
so, so he announces, he's doing Indianapolis, and then doing I can't remember what town over in Ohio, and then Chicago.
Hmm.
And I was like,
It was
well,
Roots Town. I think it was Dusty Armadillo.
I think so.
Hmm.
But I was like, we could possibly hit Indy and Chicago, and hit them both.
Yeah.
And it was like, you know what? We're not gonna chance it. Chicago's the end of the night. He's gonna be reared up. He's not gonna be wanting to
Hmm.
quit. So I called Joe's. Never been there before. I called up. Some young lady answered, and she was amazing. And I was asking questions about the venue and this and that, and she just, and I said, well, I was like, we're trying to figure out where we're gonna go, and she said, well, the only thing I can tell you is the last time that Eric came here and played, she said the manager had to go out and kill the power to the stage to get his ass off. And I was like,
That's that
I'll
for you.
I'll 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 see you. I'll see you in tomorrow or whenever it was that he announced it. And I scheduled off work. I was like, nope, I'm unavailable, can't make it. And it's February, so me and Matt get up. We go down to the bar, have a couple drinks, grab some lunch. At like 10 in the morning, 9 in the morning, whatever it is. And they're like, "What are you guys doing?" It was like, "We're grabbing something to eat because we're on our way to Chicago." They're like, "What?" Yeah, church is playing a show and we're going. They're like, "Well, what time does it go on?" It's like, I don't know, but we're going. Like, we got tickets. I was like, there's no tickets. You just show up and get in line. So we show up in Chicago. It's February, and we're standing out there. And like the week before, he dropped something on his foot and like totally annihilated his big toe. So he's wearing this great big old boot, like a walking cast.
Mm-hmm.
Here we are in Chicago, February. We're standing outside. It's, I don't know, it's like noon, 11:30 noon Chicago time. Church ain't even scheduled to play Indian until like 6 o'clock. And we're standing in line, and we weren't the first ones. We were 14th in line, and these
Crazy was probably beating you guys, I bet.
the people that were in front of us, they had gotten there. I think they said they got there like 8 o'clock in the morning, and they came from Pennsylvania. I was like, dude, he was playing in Ohio. They were like, nah, we're coming here.
Well, they probably wanted to do what you wanted to do. They thought they could do it Indy Chicago back to back.
Yeah, but they were just like us. They just weren't taking a chance.
Mm-hmm.
And the management kept coming outside saying, what do you, we don't open until so and so, or set up at a time. They're like, oh yeah, we're not here for that. We're here, for church. And they're like, oh, the line don't start till 5 o'clock. We're like, okay, well, where's it start at? They're like, we don't know. We haven't been told. Church is running everything, and there's, the line won't start till 5 o'clock. We're like, okay, well, we'll just let you know the line starts right up here.
That's when you were like, no, we're gonna start the line right here. Yeah, it was funny. Well, for Chicago, I was the same way. I got there about 8 a.m. It was like February, freezing ass cold, and I'm standing outside Joe's, and the owner Ed Worm comes out, and he was talking, and he's like, "What are you doing here, Shriver?" He goes, "You got a ticket?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Don't come back at 5 o'clock." I said, "Dude, you know how I roll." I'm like, "I like being up front." I'm like,
Yep.
I like being here. He goes, "All right, we're gonna do a system." He goes, "I'm gonna implement a system." And he went and got his head of security, and he started giving out wristbands. There was like 10, 12 people in line, and it was probably like 1 o'clock.
Yeah,
And he numbered them. He numbered
we were there.
the
We got the wristbands, and it was later than that. I can tell you that.
Oh, when you got one? Okay. Well, I didn't know when they started, but he started numbering them. And so I had the number one on wristband. So I left. And when I got food, hung out, came back about 20 minutes before doors were opening and walked right up front and got my spot back in line. And because that was what they did. The head of security went down and made you count off your wristbands in order. Like let it like the first 100 in. I'm like, this was awesome. Like every show should be doing this right now.
Oh, absolutely.
But I mean, you can't do that now, but shit. Back then.
Well, that's what it was all about. So, like, while we're standing in line, in the whole ride going to Chicago, we're like, man, it's gonna be awesome. We get to see church, and it's gonna be for free. But it's Chicago. We're gonna run into fucking shit people. Pardon my English. I'm sorry, guys. But we're gonna run into a bunch of butt heads and everything else. It's just it couldn't be more wrong. Met nothing but top shelf people. Standing in the line, there was another guy. He was a great, big old bearded guy. He was skinny, but he was super tall. He was standing in the line with us. Everybody was super cool. When they let us,
did you guys get to go upstairs at all? Cause I know at one point they cut off the line. They sent a bunch of people upstairs. They sent some people inside and a bunch of people upstairs. So were you the group that got to go upstairs?
I was in the group that got to go upstairs, and
nice.
our wristbands were like 12 and 13 or 13 and 14.
Okay.
So we're standing in line, and how Fireball came about, it was this little redhead girl, and she was a huge Eric Church fan, and like the girls in her office was like, dude, your man's playing in Chicago, you're not gonna be worth a crap at work today, go ahead and leave. So she's standing in line like right behind us, and we're all making friends and everything and chatting up, and she makes a phone call, and one of her friends drives around the corner and hands off a bottle of Fireball. That's how her name came about. So when we made it upstairs, to finally wait and everything, we're waiting in line upstairs. They opened the bar. They gave us wristbands, numbers. So we could, we didn't have to fight for a line or anything. And we just yell out, we're standing there. I can't remember the guy's name. He's from Chicago. If you're listening, dude, you're awesome. You'll know who you are. We're bellied up to the bar. We're, rocking him down, Jack and Cokes, and shooting down. Every time we shoot down a Fireball shot, we just yell, "Hey, Fireball!" And she'd come bouncing through the crowd, come up, do a shot, and shoot off, and no idea who she is or where she went, but she gave us Fireball in the line, so we gave her Fireball at the bar.
Nice. I mean, Joe's always been fun. I mean, I love to see him play there again. I don't think it'll ever happen, but
I will promise you, I will not miss that.
Oh no, I'll get there 2 days early. Just don't do it in winter time because Chicago gets cold.
like I said, we stood out there for quite a while. But thankfully, I mean, it was cold, but thankfully that day it wasn't. I mean, maybe it was just because we were juiced up because we were seeing church, but it
Yeah.
didn't seem that
Oh
bad.
yeah. It's always juiced up when you're seeing church for sure. So let's see.
And that night, Brothers Osborne,
Yeah.
played, and nobody really knew who in the hell they were. And they were up there, and they were just kind of strumming away, thumping away, and everything.
They rocked that night, dude. They rocked.
They did. They were awesome. I became a fan that night.
I remember
And,
Rum. I remember I left that night and Rum stuck in my head.
I
just
blew it up on the jukebox.
Yeah, dude. Like, I don't know why. It was the first time I was ever introduced to Brothers Osborne, and I never heard of them, never knew who they were. And they were playing, and I'm like, just sitting there. I'm like, oh, they're pretty good. But I went home. I'm like, damn, that Rum song was good.
Yeah. So we get inside and everything, and I go up as far as I can, and which is only like I was like 3 or 4 rows deep, basically standing room, maybe 5 or 6, I don't know. But my group got there. We watched Rum and everything. My brother was like, "Man, my toes throbbing." He says, "I got to go belly up." He says, "I hate to leave you." I said, "Buddy, I love you." I said, "But I'm not moving here." And our one guy, he was like, "Well, I'm gonna go get drinks. You guys want drinks?" I was like, "Yeah." I said, "You call me post. I'll be right here because I'm not moving." And I didn't for that whole show. So my brother, when he went and bellied up to the bar, he met some great people, partied with them, and when Chief came out, I could see side stage, and my brother was right there, like basically on side stage. He was at the side bar, and the drummer for Brothers Osborne came out and sat there and partied with my brother all night.
I wouldn't doubt if the guys from Brothers Osborne was out there drinking too. I mean, that was that was a good night. It was a good set, and church just rocked it, man. That was a wild night.
My favorite part was when he looked over at Driver, and it was during one of the songs, and the album wasn't released. It was on electronic. I think it was released.
I think we got the album that night because I remember I still have it. It was when, so that was February. It was when my wife was expecting our first. It was when we were expecting Jackson, because I have a book that I got signed by the whole band and Eric that night for Jackson. So I think we got the CD that night, if I'm not mistaken.
It was like that night or like the day or two before. I mean,
you didn't have a ticket, did you? You came as you got the free wristband, right?
Right. We had to just wait in line. We weren't part of the. I think there was so many choir members that were
I had a choir ticket, so I think you got a CD with that choir ticket. You got a CD with that. And I think that's what it was. And so I had the CD on me. I remember having that thing signed. I remember Heights was the last one to sign it. And I got
the LP.
Nice.
I got the album. Anytime, if there's a choice, I always get the album. I've been playing vinyl since I was a kid, and everybody says vinyl's coming back, and I'm like, dude, it never left.
Yeah. Oh no. But like now it's saying it's gonna outsell CDs for the first time since the 80s or whatever. I'm like, vinyl sounds the best. I mean, I had my parents. They got married in 1969. Their first piece of furniture they bought when they moved from West Virginia to Chicago was this old record player, but they're old cabinet ones, like they're big furniture, like long furniture pieces. So they're
don't get no better than that, man.
It still works and sounds great.
You slide the thing over. You got your liquor in there. You got your 8-track. You got.
Well, it has like little slots in there. Yeah, you can have little knobs in there, but it does have a slot where I think it used to have an 8-track in it too. Like it's really nice, and the sold tag in it. It was like $40 or $50. I'm like, damn.
I'm still rocking 8-track, by the way. Yeah. I've got one for my truck too.
I never really done 8-track, but man, I bet it sounds good too. 3-foot stack of vinyl. That is definitely true.
Oh yeah, that's my buddy Justin there, man. Love you, buddy. All right, that's a great picture there.
Yeah,
we're gonna talk about this too. That's Fort Wayne. But to say something about Justin, he's an amazing choir member. He's caught, I think, 10 shows on this tour. He's relatively new to the choir.
Mm-hmm.
In the grand scheme of things, he's discovered church not too long ago. There's actually a funny story about me and him with that. I guess I threatened him one night because I was playing it. It was actually there. That's our home bar that we call Centers.
Nice.
And I was playing some church, and he was like, "Dude, ain't that church guy?" And I just looked at him, and a mutual friend of ours was like, "Ed, he's not making a joke or a jab, man. He's like being serious." And I was like, "Yeah, you know." And now he's like one of the biggest fans, that there is. He went to 10, like I said, 10 shows, I believe, this tour.
Nice.
And I honestly wouldn't have made a stop on this tour if it wasn't for Justin.
Well, I heard
He
you're in
bought
Detroit. Friday night in Detroit?
Justin bought me and my wife, him and his wife Brandy bought me and Stacy, my wife, tickets for Detroit Friday night.
Nice, man. Yeah, I was up there too. It was definitely a good show. Detroit was another one. It was an awesome show. It was Detroit.
It was the second show that I've seen without my brother, because my brother couldn't stand for me to go to a show and him not be at it.
Yeah. Yep. So tell me about this one in Fort Wayne. I see at Fort Wayne's one. What was that old bar? It's not Neon Armadillo. There's an old bar that was in Fort Wayne.
It was I can't remember what year it was. Brantley Gilbert was opening up for him.
Yeah, that was the Young and Wild tour, right?
I don't remember. I've got the hang tags and everything, because my brother bought us like the VIP experience. So we weren't backstage, but we were kind of like side stage. You got to go in. We got a poster. The poster's actually hanging up behind me here. That's my brother's. He's still got his wristband and everything. I didn't have my wristband. I'm like, I don't know. I get a little animated when I go to the shows. I don't, I got 3 kids. I'm married. I don't get a chance to let my hair down very often. When I do, look out. So we go to this show, and church came in. We go into this little room. They shuttle us into this little room, and it holds, man, it probably holds 200. I want to say it only held like 100 people or something like that. But we're going in there. They got a cash bar. So me and my brother, we go right up to the bar. It was like, man, we could probably only get one drink apiece. They're like, no. I was like, well, how many can I get? They said, how many can you carry? I said, I need 3. He needs 3. So we get 3 drinks, each, and we go belly up to this little, podium table and everything. We're making friends and everything. And I can't remember who it was. It was somebody from the choir. She was shorter than me. She was, a year or 2 older than me. And she was obviously
that's a broad. No,
she was.
I know who that is now.
She was definitely somebody with the choir, and she was directing kind of some people around and everything. And she brought this other couple up to like the cabinets right next to the stage. And me and Matt looked at each other like, oh, hell no, we're not letting this fly. We're like, they need friends. So we go walking up there and was like, hey guys, how you guys doing? We kind of pushed our way in right next to them. And church comes out, I can see him. He walks like right towards us and stops at center of the stage. That's when he's wearing his beanie and everything. And he stops and he goes, hey, Fort Wayne, how's it going? You guys ready? And the place just gets loud as hell, and it gets dead quiet. And he just gets ready to take a strum, and I blurt out, are you ready? And he snaps his head, looks dead at me, and says, "You're damn right," and starts playing. I lost.
Yes.
Spill the drink.
That's awesome, dude. Neon Armadillo. That's what I was thinking of. It used to be in Fort Wayne. They've closed up. This is a picture from 2007 I found when I saw a church there. But yeah, it used to be an old bar in Fort Wayne. It was called Neon Armadillo.
Sweet.
So, but they closed up years ago. That's actually where I got very lucky to have dinner with Eric. There's a Texas Roadhouse in Fort Wayne.
Yeah, the infamous picture that's on.
Yeah. So it's from Fort Wayne, Indiana. It was where we had dinner that night. I think it was before one of these shows.
Let me tell you that that picture is caused a lot of stuff. It was like, well, Shriver's been to 100 and some odd shows. Like, well, dude, he knows Eric. He's like he's family, or he works for him, or he's something.
No, so I've been very lucky, man. So the whole dinner thing, that was a contest they did. And I have a picture. I'm going to find it. And I keep talking about, I'm going to find it, where it's my old porch from Mississippi. And there's like 40 packages on my front porch of all these Eric Church Carolina CDs and these brown shirts. And it's funny because my membership in the choir doesn't expire for like another 20 years. And HQ
Awesome.
actually messaged me this year, and it's like, how is this right? Like, what happened? Like, how do you have a 20-year membership like this? I'm like, remember the whole contest with Dinner with Eric? They're like, oh, I'm like, yeah, that's where that happened. Because if every membership you sold or whatever, you'd get points. And so if you sold a membership, you get points. Well, I just bought like 40 memberships. So I got a bunch of points where it led to where I got to have dinner with church. So I got lucky. There's like 4 of us that got the chance. And yeah, so my mailman hated me that day, the day Carolina was released, man. He was ready to cuss me out. So, but going on, like what was like back in the day? Did you guys get to see any of the other bar shows before the Outsiders tour? Did you guys get to go to any of those around the area in India or anything?
My brother caught him down in 8 seconds.
Nice.
My brother went to 19 shows. I've been to 10. So I'm way down in comparison to everybody else that's been on here.
Man, that's awesome.
But it's been amazing, and it's still, I look at people cross-eyed. I go, I've been to 10 shows. They're like, oh my god, I don't think I've seen anybody 10 times like it. Dude, go see one show, you'll see another.
Oh, you're hooked, man. It's just something that's it's unexplainable unless you go. I mean, people look at us funny, and it's like unless you go, you don't really know. You gotta go and get the experience.
It's, man, his passion and his drive, his interaction with the crowd, and his love for the crowd. And you guys touched on it before. With he really don't care about the entertainer of the year and this and that.
Yeah.
And the only reason, and I truly believe it too. The only reason he wants it is because we want it so bad.
Exactly. And he knows how bad his fan base wants it, and he wants it for us because he puts. I love how he puts the fans first, and it doesn't matter. He'll shoot himself in the foot for the fans. He knew damn well in Washington D.C. if he would said that Garth line, it was going to fire up his fans that night.
Oh, absolutely,
dude. There's a song on my YouTube. We're talking about Bob Seger and "Roll Me Away." It's on my old Striver Diver YouTube, and he had back when he did "How About You," he would do. There was a hidden verse one time, and it was called "Fired at the Garden," and it's really hard to like. He only did it like 3 times. But it was what was it? I got fired at the Garden for playing too damn loud. Headliners don't like it when you fire up their crowd. They try to tie my hands behind my back, but I still got them on their feet. It ain't the smoke, it ain't the lights, it's the songs that you sing. And he had that in the middle of "How About You," like the extended. And there's only like 3 videos or 3 times I ever heard him sing that. And like I was so hoping that would go to a song one day, and it never did. It just died out. And I'll still go back and listen to those videos, and I'm like, best that would have been a badass song.
Oh, absolutely.
He's talking about flats, and it's just like, but it's why he did what he did. And all right, I got a couple of pictures that you sent over I want to talk about before we open up and invite anybody in or anything else. You sent these over. So let's talk about these. It's Christmas time.
Right. This is all my brother, and that's exactly why I sent him, because this, ultimately this is about my brother and everything else. It's church, it's everything, and my brother was church, but this is my brother in classic mode. So this is I'm actually in this house right now. This is the house that me and my brother grew up in. This is my mom and dad's house. They're in the other room right now. I'm sitting in my brother's room. Which is that little tiny window in the right front corner. We actually shared this room when we were kids. And there was one year, there was a lot of snow, obviously. He went around, this is after Christmas, and he collected every tree that he could find that people were throwing out. And he built these snow mounds and planted them in there. And I mean, these trees stuck around until like spring. And then he strung Christmas lights through them. I mean, people thought we were nuts. But that right there, that's my brother.
That is awesome, man. I could see him doing that.
You're lucky you don't live closer, because I mean, like he would do that to your front yard.
So you know what we used to do? This is me checking in our notch in the I'm going to hell already notch. But back in high school, we would do stuff kind of like this, but we would steal lawn ornaments, and we would go and put them in our friends' yards.
Yeah.
So, like, if we would be just driving down the street and we would see like a yard gnome that would represent one of our friends, and we would think it was funny, we would steal it and put it in his front yard. And still to this day, my one of my really good friends, Hager, his uncle just passed a year or so ago, and they still have a deer in their front yard. It's been there since our senior year in high school, and it's been 20 years. So,
That's awesome.
but we would just, it was this fun stuff. But that would have been hilarious. Him just collecting old trees.
Hey, he just drove around. I mean, if there's a tree somebody threw out by the road, he stopped, threw it in his truck.
What did your parents say? There was like this crazy Walsh,
Well,
crazy man.
I mean, they raised us. So, this you get what you put in. And this is what they put in, so
That is awesome. I love that story, man. See, that's why I love. I saw these photos of like, all right, I got to bring these up because there's gonna be hilarious. So we're gonna go ahead, and I got tons and tons of photos I want to start sharing of Matt. That I'm gonna pull out. I'm just gonna start throwing a couple random ones up. But if anybody out there actually does have a story, I'm gonna share a link here in a minute. And yeah,
I want to give a quick shout out to, I don't know if she's
sure.
listening or not, but Bonnie, I met her up in Detroit. She's amazing. I started coining a phrase up there, Merry Churchmas. And I was running through the hotel like a lunatic with his head cut off. I was trying to fire everybody up, and I'm sitting there like, "Are you guys in town for church?" They're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Well, Merry Churchmas, man. Get up, let's do something."
So
I'm that guy. I don't. Me and my brother were a lot of the same.
So I posted the link in chat. Make sure if you guys want to come in and share a quick story, we're just going to open up for 20 minutes. And I got a special guest coming on in about 20 minutes. And I'm really excited about this one. I know Ed kind of got a sneak peek of who it was. So I know he's excited too in a way. So yeah, if you see the link and you guys want to come on, make sure you're in a quiet area, please. When you come on, and you have a good video, good lighting, and everything, we'll throw you on. I know we have one guy that's been waiting for a while. We're gonna go ahead and throw him in real quick into the mix. I think you might know this guy.
What's up, cuz?
What's up, Michael?
What's up?
So you gotta tell me.
I can't see anybody. I can't see. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I was gonna say now that you're in the room or on the live, you should be able to see it.
No, I got an iPad. I have an iPad here going on, but it's delayed big time.
You gotta give me a story, man. Give me maybe the most embarrassing story you have of Walsh of Matt that you can share.
Nah, there's a lot of them.
All right, the most embarrassing story of Walsh that you could share at a church show.
I mean, he lived with me for about 2 years. Mm-hmm. We went to one show. When he lived with me, and it was that Marion, Illinois show.
Okay.
That was pretty epic.
Awesome.
So we go to this Black Diamond Harley Davidson. They throw up the stage in the middle of the field, and I find out there's a campground about a mile away from the venue. And so I'm like, screw it. Screw buying a hotel. Let's just take the camper. Me and my friend Donnie and Matt jump in the truck, load my camper, head down there, get up. And it's like 8:30 in the morning. And Matt's like, let's go. I'm like, dude, concert ain't on till freaking 7 o'clock tonight. He was like, well, I'm staying in the line. So we freaking catch an Uber or catch a taxi or something down there. And we just seriously the first one there. And Matt sits there for 9 o'clock in the morning till whenever the doors were open. Shows you how he was diehard. From there on, I knew Matt was serious about it.
That is awesome.
But Matt would tell you that was probably the worst show that he's ever been to. Mine myself. The fans were just so rude that night. Throwing boots at the stage, throwing when Jack Daniels was coming on, dude, flinging about 10, 15 Jack Daniels bottles at him. He didn't know which way.
I thought for a while at the beginning of Double Down, I'm like, all right, this is gonna be the end for Jack or something, because it's getting out of hand. I mean, people are just throwing stuff left and right in the boots, but I think I got it under control pretty well. But like every now and then he'll take a boot pretty low, and people have good aims at time. Like, I'd definitely be wearing a cup if I was letting people throw boots at me or something. Be like, nope, sorry.
Yeah. I went to 5 shows this Double Down, and I never got a chance to get pit tickets, but I was like first or 5th row the whole time.
Well, the Double Down tour, now that it's done and over, I mean, everybody was like, well, don't tell the secret or whatever else. Welcome to what Double Down was. Welcome to the show where you wait to the day of and get the best seats in the house. So it was the oddest thing, but this entire tour, if you went to the box office like Friday or whatever, like at 10 or 11, they had 20 pit tickets almost. Or I mean, at the beginning of the tour, it was Friday and Saturday, like the day of, they'd have them. And I'm like people were asking me, like, how are you doing so many shows and getting pit and this and that? I'm like, dude, I don't even have tickets. I'm just showing up the day of and going to the box office and getting best available. And I mean, I was like that. Next tour will be completely different. But what was that?
I said, out here in Fanland, you get cussed out. How the fuck did Shriver get in there like that again?
Dude, there's so many shows that I didn't have tickets for, or people would like reach out and be like, "Hey, we got an extra ticket. You want to come out or this and that?" I'm like, "All right, let me see what I can do, or if I can make it." But it was just crazy. Like, you could just get such good seats the day up.
First off, the choir is amazing like that. Bonnie, she's an amazing choir member. When my brother passed, she pushed me to go to the Grand Rapids show, because that was the first show right after my brother, and she was like, "Dude, don't worry about it. Just show up. We'll put you guys up in rooms, and we'll make sure you guys get to the show." And I was like, "Man, I can't do that. I'll gladly do that for somebody else, but I can't do that."
So I'm going through photos as we're talking and just I want to throw some up there as we're going. And if I see a good one, I'm going to throw it up there.
Oh, absolutely.
That's Matt right there.
Oh man, I got so many from him. This is my favorite. This is my favorite right here.
Texas, he lit it up. There's no
right here.
doubt.
This one's Texas. This was my favorite. I don't know where we were.
Yeah, well, I didn't send you one. He's got one on me, kind of like that, from Fort Wayne. And when we left the Fort Wayne show, we went over to one of the classy establishments, and he's got pictures of it. And, I mean, I work insane hours, and 3 kids and everything else. And he's got a picture of me like hunkered back, passed out at a titty bar, and everything. And everybody's laughing at me. They're coming over, but the bartender kept coming over, trying to take my drink, and every time they like even remotely come close to my glass, I was like, "Hey, I'm not done with
that." We got another guy that's logged in, and let's bring Chris on. We got another special guest. Come on, let's see.
Staples, what's up?
Yeah, Mr. Chris Graham too.
Oh, Graham.
Hey, yo.
How you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
Good to see you. Welcome to the show. So you want to share a good story about Walsh?
Man, I just wanted to send out another personal thank you, for Ed for doing the show and bringing on all these great stories that he's telling. They've all been fantastic. I was just sitting here thinking about Walshy all day and how awesome the show was going to be. And this is exactly what we all needed, I think. And it's just great, man.
I appreciate it, man. The choir, I'll take this second, to personally and on behalf of my family, because, me and my brother forced church down, their necks. They didn't have a choice. And
Get that right.
To the point where it was annoying, sometimes.
Yeah.
And when the choir stepped up and contributed the way that they did, it was amazing. I can't ever begin to thank everybody that contributed into that enough. I'm going to tear up a little bit now. My dad was absolutely floored. You know, I mean, like I said, we annoyed the hell out of my dad with it, and and it's not that he didn't like church. My dad finally looked back at his life and said, well, we're big Hank Williams Jr. fans as well, and mainly because of my dad. And my dad was like, well, I guess this is what I was doing, to everybody with Hank, is what you guys are
This is
doing
our
with
Hank.
church.
This is our generation's Hank.
Yeah.
And so I mean, he gets it. And when everybody stepped up and did that, it was amazing.
Well, I can
Matt's
tell you,
smiling down good right now.
I can tell you this, Ed, that if it would have been possible logistically wise, there would have been another 200, 300 people that would have loved to have been able to come say goodbye to your brother. I'm very thankful that I live close enough to where I was able to come and hang out and to meet you, to meet your mom. They were all great. And the entire thing has always had me thinking that's exactly the way that I would like mine to happen. So everybody write that down whenever I die. I want mine to be just like Walshy.
I hope it was like.
We
I
got
think
a lot
we
of
all
people
said
that
that.
actually.
I hope his funeral was like Joe Diffie propped me up beside a jukebox. I hope that's how. Right.
That is how it was. That is how it was. It was great.
That's the perfect send off for him.
I'll say this, because me and my brother, there was a lot of times. I mean, we'd stay up, we would outdrink everybody and stay up, and like everybody else would pass out, and we would spend hours by ourselves in the morning, and we would talk about everything under the sun. And ironically enough, we would even talk about like situations like that. So I'm very honored that I was able to be a part of fulfilling what was my brother's final wishes. With that being said, I'll say this: for those that weren't there, I got up and spoke a little bit. I don't know how I managed to get anything out at all, but I was.
You did it masterfully.
He did. He's good with his words.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to try to duplicate it, and it might not be word for word, but if I everybody that I spoke to, talked to, text, and everything else, I told everybody, man, don't break any plans to be there. That's not what my brother would want. You can honor my brother very easily because my brother is not in one spot anymore. He's with all of us all the time. So anytime you're around a campfire, you got a kick-ass church song going, or some, Seeger playing, and you got a glass in front of you, and I don't care if it's water, whiskey, beer, coffee, whatever, raise it up and say, here's to you, and he's right there, and I guarantee you, if you're really quiet and pay really close attention, you'll hear it clink. And that's all I can say.
Thank you for saying that again for everybody.
He was definitely a special guy. So, all right, Chris. Well, we appreciate you coming on, and
thanks for having me on.
You are going to be
Chris, thank you for being
surprise, a part of it.
No problem, brother.
A little bit. So we'll have something in a little bit that we're going to show Ed, and Chris is a part of it, and I definitely thank you for being a part of that. So appreciate it, man.
All right, I'll see you guys later. Bye.
Take care.
All right, bye.
All right. So if anybody else, we're going to, for the next 8 minutes or so, we're just going to kind of keep it opened up. I'll go ahead and post the link again if anybody does want to come on and just come and talk and just share a story. If you have a quick story you want to share, we are in about 8 minutes going to bring on a special guest, and it's going to be fun. We're going to have a good time for when he comes on. So let's go back, Michael. While we got you here, have you done a lot? You're in the St. Louis area, right?
Yeah, just outside St. Louis, Illinois.
Do you do a lot of the St. Louis shows when he's down there? Or?
Yeah, everyone. And I made it to thanks for my other cousin Jason, who was my sidekick this year. We went to the Nashville show together. We went to the Saturday Chicago show, and we went to the Friday Sacramento show. Every show we went to was very last minute. Like that Thursday, that Wednesday or Thursday, we decided we're gonna go.
I think I had tickets for like 2 shows. And I
Big
picked up
shout out, big shout out to my cousin Jason for being my sidekick, and else I wouldn't have been able to go or go by myself.
church sidekicks always fun to have.
Right.
I love having.
We're already talking about next tour. You know, he's in.
What are you looking at for 2020?
Well, to be honest with you, my girlfriend's birthday is the end of March, and I'm about to pull the trigger and get the tickets for Kissing Me Florida, that festival.
Nice.
But yeah.
So who's that present for?
Well, I mean, we're shooting two birds at once, right
Yeah,
there.
right. There you go.
And it'll be Rachel's first Eric Church concert. Then she'll finally get it, and I'll shut up. She's tired of hearing about it every single day. Every other day, I think on Friday and Saturday of Black Friday and that Saturday where we got free shipping, I ordered 3 or 4 orders because I kept forgetting things.
Yeah.
And then about every other day, I'm getting an Eric Church package, and she's like, "Jesus, is this going to end?" She's like, "You gotta quit buying me."
I'm going to tell you, what I really want to do. You always see that meme on Facebook that goes around of all the Amazon packages that the wife leaves out, like the freak out the guy. I want to get a roll of those church stickers that come on all of our packages. Like when we order church merch and get like 30 boxes and put those stickers on them, like out front my house on Christmas and just watch my wife lose her shit. I was like, I got to do that sometime. That'd be fun.
I got to share this about my brother and St. Louis. It kind of ties all in. The Hold My Own tour, Michael actually scored us some. I mean, if you're not going to sit in the first 5 rows, there's only one other place to sit, and that was in a suite. And
nice.
We got a suite. We were way back, nosebleeds. I'm sorry, I didn't send any of those
Furthest
pictures
away
where
you
we
can
were at.
see.
But I mean, it was an awesome way to take in a show because we get down there, you don't have to wait in line. You get a private entrance in.
Mm-hmm.
You get a private elevator up, and you get bottle service. You don't have to wait in line. You get your own bathroom. It was awesome. Now at that show, why that show is so special? It's so special for a number of reasons. Number one, it was shared with so much family. And even though I wasn't able to be arm in arm with my brother was at that show. He came down, kind of a last minute and scored tickets. He sat almost directly under us.
Hey, didn't he sit in a handicap spot?
Yeah, I think so. But
him and Aunt Paula.
Yeah. And at that show, that was the first show, and I cried. I don't know if anybody that was up in the suite. I don't know if you remember it, Michael, but like I was like, no, don't talk to me right now. It was Lightning. That was the first show. That was my brother's 15th show, and it took him 15 shows to hear the song Lightning.
Oh man, that's awesome. But he got to hear it though, right?
He got to hear it.
Yeah.
And like I broke down because it was the first time that I got to hear it, and like I was excited because I knew my brother was right down below us, and I was excited because that's my brother's song.
That is awesome, man.
And tying back into all that again, like I said, I mean, I just feel like church is like I'm an extension of him, or he's an extension of me, or whatever. My heart went out to church when he lost his brother, and I don't know all the details of it, but I know a lot of y'all out there don't know all the details of my brother.
Yeah.
But they are eerily or scarily similar. So, now and Justin was at a show, and he sent me a link, and it was during Centers. He's like, "Dude, this is your song." He sent it to me, videoed it, and sent it to me in text. And church changes it up, and I go to see my brother sometimes, and I lose it.
Yeah, it's definitely. I can see. Oh man, I can definitely see that now. Man. Yeah, Sinners is always a tough one. And I know Brandon, and I knew Brandon he struggled. I know your brother had demons. We all do, and we all handle it differently, and it depends on how you handle it. And we're not going to touch into all that, but it just depends. And we know where it comes from, where it stems from. We try to gain from that. And now what we can learn is the memory your brother leaves behind. I mean, you guys are sharing amazing stories, and I just love hearing them. And it's been a great show. So, having a good time.
I love it. I mean, it's and like I said, it's just, man, it's just spooky, scary. Like how when church releases an album,
Mm-hmm.
I usually listen to it by myself somewhere, whether it's in my truck driving around, or I can grab a bottle.
Yep.
Sometimes, like this Desperate Man, I waited for my good buddy Justin to come over before I dropped the needle on it. But I usually drop. I sit by myself and I listen to it like 3 or 4 times right away, back to back to back to back to back, and like
Mm-hmm.
really take it in. And I always pick in every single album. I can pick a song for me, and I pick a song for my brother. Like Cold One. When the first time I heard Cold One, I was like, dude. I called my brother. I was like, "Are you serious?" And I was like, "I'm gonna ask you a dumb question because I know you already listened to it." I said, "But that's you." And
Mm-hmm.
I can usually pick one out for me, like Hold My Own. I was like, oh my God, it's like he's writing this for me. There's my sister.
Oh
That's
yeah,
Sammy.
yeah. Holding My Own was definitely a good. Oh man, that was an
And
amazing song.
I know you've asked some other guests, favorite albums and this and that, and I don't know that I could ever pick a favorite. Sinners is gonna be way up there because that's the hook. That's the that's what reeled me in. But honestly, this last album, Desperate Man, is cover to cover. I can't pick a song that's not me.
What was Matt's favorite song from Desperate Man?
I don't know what his personal favorite was off that album. Unfortunately, we didn't really get a chance to really dive into that one and dissect it. The
Yeah.
song that I picked out, that for him, was a couple of them, and actually one of them I used lyrics off of on his prayer cards. For his passing, I used the lyrics out of Monsters
Yeah.
because I know that's a
I
monster
remember
staying
talking
underneath
about
the
that.
bed.
Yeah. That is crazy.
And I also used, going back to an old album, Tomorrow I'm Taking Me Fishing.
Hang a sign on the door of my life, man.
That's it, man. I mean, it just, I don't know what it is. He's got a way. I mean, he can reel us in like it ain't nothing.
It's crazy, like with the words too. And sometimes you really got to understand it. And like, and I just think that's just church. I mean, you gotta understand them to like them. And I know church is kind of like the guy, either you love them or you hate them. There's no like you could tolerate them. And
I see. I don't I don't agree with that.
no, okay,
To me it's either you love them or you haven't listened yet.
yeah, okay.
And I stated and I put out there
Or you don't
and
understand it. You don't understand.
right.
Yeah,
And I put it out there before. I said you don't listen there, church. You
yeah.
don't. You
I feel it.
you feel it.
Mhm. Yep, I agree. I definitely agree.
I agree as well.
All right. Well, we're gonna move on to our next segment, Michael. We're gonna go ahead and throw you back into, or you just came back in a little bit if you want. We're gonna do a post show, and I want you to be a part of it if you don't mind.
Love it, cuz.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, can
Love
you
you
do that?
too.
All right. In our group chat, I'll send you our link for it, and it'll be like 20 minutes or half an hour. I'll send you guys the link. All right, man.
Okay.
All right. Cool. I'll talk to you soon. All right. Let's go ahead and clear this. So, I did a really cool put a really cool video package together for you. We're gonna play it in a little bit, but before we do that, one person wanted to be a part of it really bad, and he went and recorded his video, and he was drinking a little bit, and it didn't go as planned, and so instead of him doing a video, we talked, and this is somebody I wanted on the show within my first 5 episodes. I asked him to be on the show. I know with work, it was really hard for him to be on the show. So tonight is his first night. I'm really, really excited to bring our special guest on tonight. And if you guys think of Matt Walsh and think about everything, you could probably guess who that special guest is. And it's Scott Staples. So Scott Staples, welcome, man. I'm so glad you're finally on the show with us and being a special guest tonight. I know you had a cool little message you planned out, and you have a huge announcement you want to make tonight. And we're going to give you and Ed the floor for the next 6 minutes. So you're going to host this show.
It says I'm live. I don't see you, Shriver.
Do you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. I haven't seen you all night.
Yeah, you're not going to see me. Can you hear me?
Like, I can't see anything on the screen. Ed, I can't see you, and Shriver, I can't see you right now. It says I'm live, but
yeah, you probably can't see us, but you can hear anything. Us, right?
I can hear Ed, but Shriver, I cannot hear you.
All right, give us a minute.
Oh, all right, he's working on it.
Everything ran just fine on the. I see you now, Shriver.
I see both of you.
Do you hear me?
I can't see Ed, but I can see you, Shriver.
Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
There we go. All right, we fixed it.
How's it going?
A quick refresh button. So if you didn't hear me, Staples, I'm going to give you the floor for the next 5 minutes, and it's going to be you and Ed. I know you have a big announcement you want to share.
I can't see Ed. I don't know.
Right.
Okay,
he's there. He can hear you.
I can hear you, Scott.
Okay, yeah, I can hear you, Ed. It's unfortunate that we're meeting under these circumstances, and it's been nice to talk to you over the last couple of days.
Yeah, I'm. The show, I could probably fill a half a day or longer with it, talking about my brother. Well, talking about anything, talking about church, talking about my brother. I mean, anybody that knows me, I guess, they say I don't shut up, so.
It must run in the family. It seems like Matthew was like that. From I'm sure everyone can vouch for that. That's Matthew.
He stole the show in Texas, man.
Dude, he was the highlight of the show. Other than the fact that we were all brought together to raise money for the Sunny Melton Living the Dream Foundation. But outside of that, Walsh was the highlight of the weekend, no doubt about it.
Yeah, he's usually got to try to one up me. Little brother syndrome.
If I'm not mistaken, that was the first time he had ever been on an airplane before. Is that correct?
It absolutely was.
So, I mean, everyone that's watching, that right there tells you how important that weekend was to our Walsh. That's how important it was to him.
Mainly because it wasn't, it wasn't just because he just never flew anywhere. It's just because he was quite literally scared shitless of getting on a plane.
I remember him telling me that. Yes. Okay. So, first of all, Aaron, thanks for asking me to come on tonight.
Well, I'm glad you're here, man. I'm honored.
Back. Unfortunately, back when Walsh passed away, a few of us had come up with the idea to raise some money to help pay for the funeral expenses. It'd be a way to honor Walsh from the entire church choir, and we raised over $2,000. We set a little bit of that aside, and we gave $1,900 to the family. And we set a little bit of aside. We had another idea for what we set aside, but unfortunately that didn't follow through. But I talked to Ed the other day and Samantha, and they relayed the message to their parents, and they agreed upon what we're going to do. So I'm happy to announce that. Well, first of all, I'm going to say that, and some of the church choir people can vouch for this, that Matthew loved kids. He absolutely loved kids. And Ed, I'm sure you can say a little bit about that also.
Yeah, to say the least. He never had any of his own. He's got my 3 kids. I mean, He had them wrapped around his finger. I mean, they were putty in his hands. They adored him.
Well, we set $350 aside, and like I said, we had an idea in mind, and unfortunately that fell through. But I think that perhaps this is a better idea that we came up with. So me and Ed were talking the other day, and Samantha, and them two and Matthew's parents all agreed that the money that we set aside, which is again is $350, we're going to give it back to kids. It's Christmas time. There's there's kids out there that can't afford, unfortunately, that their parents can't afford to give them a Christmas. So I'm happy to announce, on behalf of the church choir, in the honor of the love and memory of our brother, Matthew Walsh, we're going to give the $350 to help kids that live. Is it St. Joseph's County? Is that correct, Ed?
That'd be correct.
Yes. Okay. There's two families that I believe it's 5 kids total. We're gonna help sponsor. We're gonna donate $350 on behalf of, in the love and memory of our Walsh, to help give help some kids in the St. Joseph's County community a Christmas this year. So that's the announcement I wanted to make tonight.
That is
On behalf of the church choir, in the love and memory of our Matthew Walsh.
That is amazing, man.
I can't think of anything more fitting, or anything more that my brother would be proud of. This time of year, well, it didn't matter what time of year it was. He was always a giver. If we were ever at a benefit anywhere, his pocket was just open. It didn't matter what it was for, what it was. It was open. The place that he worked at, Linebacker Lounge in South Bend, they usually do a huge Toys for Tots drive, and they do it like kind of anonymously. So sorry about name dropping them, but it is what it is. They deserve it. Yeah, my brother would always, raise big money for him. I mean, he would give everything he had.
So you got to tell us why Sables is on. You said there's a time about him giving his shirt off his back. Let's talk about that real quick. Share that story.
So I'm standing in the funeral home, and this gentleman walks up to me, and he says, "Ed," he says, "you don't know me," he says, "but I knew your brother. I was a regular of his, or I was a patron of his. My brother bartended." And he said, there was one day I walked in, and he said, "I just want to share this story with you." He said, I walked in, and, your brother was wearing a shirt, and he didn't really know what shirt it was or whatever. He just mentioned that he liked it. He said, "Man, I like your shirt." And my brother's like, "Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate it. What can I get you to drink?" Gets him his drink, fixes him up, and my brother says, "All right, hey, I got to go in the back. I'll be right back." Goes back in the office. Well, he had another shirt back there. That's my son right there, and that's my brother. But so my brother comes back out of the office with another shirt on, and the guy kind of like looks and like, okay. And my brother had a shirt in his hand and threw it, across the bar. Said, "Here you go, man." He was like, "What?" He was like, "Well, we're about the same size. You said you like my shirt. Here you go." Oh. He said, "Man," he said, he says, "a lot of people talk it."
Yeah.
He said, "But your brother is the only one that has literally given me the shirt off his back, and that's my brother. Mm-hmm. Love him, hate him, this, that, or the other. When it comes down to it, there's, when it comes to talking trash, you can talk trash all you want, but when it comes to action, he's one to back it up."
So Staples, we'll save the one story. I want you to come on our post show too. Save that story, but we have a good swim trunk story we'll have to share, and we'll talk about.
Yeah, and I actually found that. So whenever you want me to share,
we'll talk about that on the post show. I'm gonna bring you on the post show. We'll talk about that. It's gonna be me, you, Ed, and Michael just sitting around, just drinking a couple Busch Lights on the post show.
Sounds good to me, man.
I might have to disappear for just a second to go get some more ice.
Hey, go ahead and run. Go ahead and run if you got to run. We'll have Staples share a story real quick and then come on back.
All right.
All right. So Staples, while he's running to get some ice, you go ahead and share. Let's see. I'm going to ask. I want to know your funnest moment with Walsh, like just the moment where you laughed the hardest with him.
Gosh.
Because there's a lot of moments we laugh, but the time that you just,
We're still on.
where you couldn't breathe.
I wished I could have been around him a lot more than what I was. Because there was just Texas and thankfully last October of 2018, myself, Emily, and Jamie had all talked him into coming to Chicago.
Yep.
To see Ashley McBride, and then he come to your house we all came to your house the next day for the songwriters round, which that's where the swimming trunk story comes into play. So everyone tune in on the Patreon a little bit later and I'll share that story. But
can you see the pictures I'm sharing right now or no?
Yes, I can't see the whole picture, but I know what picture it is. That's a pretty funny story that involved. I know Carrie Crozat was the person who wrote the tramp stamp tattoos. I think Florida Georgia Line, Sam Hunt, Luke Bryan was all wrote on his back. He was passed out on the bus as we were headed to. I think maybe it was Austin. The second day of the Texas.
Yeah, it was Austin. It was Austin.
It was Austin on Saturday in Texas.
Yep.
And man, he used to bust my balls. So, me and him went back and forth of busting each other's balls about liking Florida Georgia Line and Sam Hunt, and he had another name for Hunt, but I won't repeat it on here. But
Frazee, that night makes a cameo in a little bit, in like 15 minutes, 10 minutes. That'll make a cameo.
Yeah, thanks to Frazee, me and Walsh were in a domestic relationship that night.
I forgot about that, dude.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about that. I believe until the next day. I'm like, what the heck are y'all talking about? And
because he changed on his Facebook that you guys were in a domestic partnership, and no one told
yeah, that's what it was, domestic partnership. But yeah, I mean, it was weird because me and Walsh had not met each other until April of 2018, right before 2 weeks. We were all together at Joe's Bar before the Texas reunion. And before we even met, it's just like me and him always knew. It's like we knew each other right away, and we hadn't even met yet. We were just constantly busting each other's balls on, whether it be on the fan pages or on Facebook Messenger. And over the last couple of days, I pulled up my Facebook Messenger with him and just went back and read some of our conversations. And I still have a couple of voice texts of him still. And I mean, it's nice to hear his voice, but I mean, man, I wish we were sitting around right now drinking these bush lattes together and busting each other's balls. I'm sure everyone can agree. He's missed badly. He's missed so bad, and my heart pours out to his family. He was one of a kind. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, that's putting it lightly.
Very lightly.
He was a one of a kind in many categories.
Absolutely. And it's so weird, listening tonight, and me and him. The Marion, Illinois show that me and him talked about that through Messenger. I'm like, dude, I was at that show because that was my first meet and greet with EC was that night. And I was like, man, it would have been nice to cross paths with him a lot sooner than.
Oh yeah,
and instead of 2018.
Y'all were Ed and them were all at the Seeger show, man. I would love to run into you guys then. I mean,
yeah, it's just like, Ed,
I don't know. Walsh and I together back in 2007, that could have been trouble.
I've got an amazing wife. That's all I can say. Cause he's put up a lot through the years.
Yeah, I fit in that category too, man. I definitely do. It's kind of cool knowing that I have a wife that knows that or knew she was there from the beginning of my Eric obsession. You could call it. So like when we got married and everything else, I'm like, you know what? This ain't changing nothing. Church came. I mean, church comes there. No, but I got lucky to go to a lot of shows this year, and I know a lot of people don't get as lucky to do that and whatnot. And I mean, I owe it all to her. So when you say you got a lucky life or wife, I'm right there in the same boat, man. We're gonna find out Staples one of them one of these days. that doesn't moo. No.
They're not moving tonight.
Yeah, someone
It's
said
been
the
a
cows are
while since
mooing.
it's been a while since I've been on live, but there's no way I was going to turn down coming
Some
on
of
here
the
tonight.
funniest lives you ever did was where Walsh just went like rogue.
Yeah, I wished I was trying to dig some of those up, and I
You're
never
fine.
did.
I'd probably get them for you.
Yeah, it was hilarious having him on, and I really wish I I shared this earlier when we were doing sound check before you came on live tonight. I remember the Friday before he passed. Me and Thomas Dunham, we were messaging each other back and forth like, dude, we need to FaceTime Walsh and see what he's up to. And for some reason we didn't do it. And that's always stuck with me that I regret not messaging.
You can't hang on to those, man.
I know that, but it just, under the circumstances, like, man, it would have been nice to see him and just say something to him.
Trust me,
Uh,
I've got some stuff that don't need to be on live. Some regrets of my own, and I can't let those eat me up either.
yeah, I mean, I try
Love it.
not to let it eat at me, but it's just, knowing that he passed away 2 days later, it's like, man, it would just been nice to see him and shoot the shit with him and bust his balls one more time. And it, I'm going to miss that. And I only got to know him for about 2.5 years, and you grew up with him, so I can only imagine what you and your sister and your parents are going through.
I didn't pull any of the Fulton Boys memes, but I should have.
Yeah, we had some funny memes that we done of him over.
I think
over
my favorite meme that I think it was actually one that I did. Sorry, Frazee, but one of my favorite one ever was 9 months after Texas when I did the baby picture of two babies side by side. One was drinking, one was smoking. They both had
I remember sharing that in the group chat a couple of days ago.
That was my favorite one. I'm like, it's been 9 months since Texas. Is Walsh? Is he checking his schedule? No.
I made the comment earlier today, and I was gonna, whenever I was trying to attempt to do a video for the tribute that you're gonna share in a little bit. Walsh was my brother, but he was my brother in more than one ways, and I'll just leave it at that.
I can understand that.
Oh, God.
I love him for it. God bless him.
All right, Staples. It's been great to have you on, a special guest.
Hey,
you got to come on and be a full guest with me on one night. You got to next year.
There's no way I could turn down tonight. This is all about Walsh. And
yeah. You and I have a lot of stories to tell. About 20 or 30% of them include Walsh.
Yeah, exactly. No doubt about it, man.
At least he wasn't in Jackson, Tennessee. That's all. No.
But there is a story involving Jackson, Tennessee that includes Walsh.
Oh, shit.
That's the first time I ever met him, man, was through FaceTime. We got to meet most of the family that night, too, but I'll just leave it at that.
All right, man. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. I'm going to send you that link for the post show, and you got to come back for the post show because I want to talk to you. It'll probably be
okay,
like
man.
15 minutes
appreciate
or so.
You having me on, and, man, I'm sure everyone can can vouch for this. We appreciate you doing this tonight to honor Walsh.
Man, honestly, when I started booking these shows, this is one of the first ones I wanted. I mean, there's like 5 things I wanted to do to accomplish, and this was one of them. I had to do something for Walsh.
Before I sign off, let's just cheers to Walsh one last time, or at least for me, one last time. Cheers to Walsh, man. We love you and miss you.
Cheers, man.
Thanks for having me on.
Love you, Staples. We'll talk soon. Well, that was fun. That was a good little surprise having him on.
Absolutely.
I love Staples, man. He's always a good guy. All right, so we're gonna do this. If you listen to with Johnson and everybody else, you know I do a little game closer to the end of the show called the hot seat. So I'll ask some questions and give you 60 seconds. No one ever makes it through, and that's a little loud, but okay. We'll turn this down. So here's your questions. All right, you ready for this?
Let's do it.
The first five are church related. The last five are more Matt related. There's questions about him. We'll see. One Eric Church lyric that stands out.
Those I loved along the way.
Yeah, I just lost my questions. Give me a second. We're going to reset your time here in a minute. All right. So I try to get fancy and have all these papers tonight, and they blew away on me.
It happened.
Technical difficulties. So we reset your time. Number two, if you're going to listen to one album by Eric Church, what album is it? You knew that question was coming up.
I knew it was coming, and like I said, man, my go-to is always Sinners, but I'm not gonna be mad about Desperate Man.
That's a hell of a good song. Number three, one song EC has never covered that you want him to cover.
Hank Williams Jr. Dinosaur.
Hell yeah. Who is your dream opener for Eric Church?
I mean, do we need an opener? I mean, can we just have like twin headliners?
All right.
I mean,
your least favorite Eric Church song?
All right.
You tell me yours, I'll tell you mine.
It's not my least favorite now, but it was when it came out, and that was Springsteen.
Nice. Okay. Mine's always Killer Word. I don't know why. Just not a fan. I mean, I'm a fan of the lyrics. I love the lyrics. Don't get me wrong. I love what the song says. I'm just not a fan of the song. I don't know why. But it's a church song that I love. What was Matt's favorite Eric Church song? If he had to pick one song, what was it?
Again, that's gonna. Me and him were a lot, and I mean a lot alike. It's gonna revert back to Sinners naturally because that was the one that I mean it's the beginning of everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd have to say Lightning.
No, man, that's a good one. That's good song. What's your favorite? If you had to pick a lyric out of Lightning, I mean, I know this is probably gonna put you on the spot because you're like, whatever. If you can't answer it, I understand. But if you had to pick one lyric out of Lightning that stood out, what would it be for you?
For me?
Yeah, for you. Not for anybody else, for you.
It's not just one line, but it's a hungry, blue-eyed baby girl. I mean, I've been there.
Mm-hmm. All right. No, that's cool because that right there, everybody has a different lyric that they hang on to from different songs. So to really get to know people, it's like, all right, what is the lyric from this song that stands out to you? And that kind of like, it shows like where you connect with the song. And
hold on, this is the first time that I'm really getting to see you. Is that the Outlaw Country's Not Dead?
Yeah. The one that looks purple? Well, nice. I told you what shirt I had. I had a really cool shirt that I felt Walsh would approve, but my wife said I couldn't wear it. I told you that earlier. But so I threw this one on because it's actually one of my old church shirts I found that I could actually fit into again, which is cool.
That's my brother's shirt that I have, and I almost wore that one.
Oh, dude. I don't know why. I was going through all my old shirts and I saw this one. I'm like, okay, if I can't wear this one, I'm wearing this one right here. So nice. my next question was if Matt could have picked a dream concert tour, if he had 3 acts that he had to pick and be his dream tour, what 3 acts would it be? Any genre, anything. Who would be his top 3 to tour together if he was the promoter?
Eric Church, Kid Rock, probably Jamie Johnson.
Dude, I've seen Kid Rock and Jamie Johnson. I've seen Kid Rock and Eric Church. That would be a hell of a tour, and he just sold a ticket to me. So, all right. Do you know? Oh, wait, well, we're gonna save that one. I gotta get pictures for that one. Growing up, so we'll say high school era. What was Walsh's favorite artist? What was he listening to in high school?
Man, we've been listening to Bob Seger and Hank Williams Jr. since we were kids. I've got pictures when we were both like my kids' age and younger, both wearing Hank Williams Jr. And honestly, man, we were tight, but we kind of butted heads a little bit, through those ages, and we were a little separate, so like modern age, I don't know.
What was his guilty pleasure? What song would he love that he would have hated if you told anybody he listened to? And if you say Awkward Barbie Girl, I'm gonna laugh now.
I don't know. I tried I tried going through his music library.
That's all right.
And I couldn't like for whatever I tried telling you this. I'm not that tech savvy.
Yeah. Hey, you did good tonight, man.
Well, I can wing it. I'm a hell of a I'll make it work somehow.
Yeah, I had 2 questions left, but I'm not gonna ask the one because Staples already kind of touched on the Brotherhood a little bit. So leave that one. Do you know the old Chicago salute?
I do not.
Okay, we're gonna share some pictures real quick. So this is the old Chicago salute. A lot of people in the chat might know this salute very well, but so that's what we do whenever we're at old Chicago or anybody sees an old Chicago. We'll do a picture like this and send it to one another, and that's our Walsh salute for old Chicago. Always been. There is a story behind it that we're not going to share.
Yeah, you probably can't share it.
Yeah, we won't, but some people know. But that is definitely the old Chicago salute that we love. I'm sure there's some people in chat rolling right now.
There's not a doubt in my mind.
So, yeah, we definitely got some people coming in now laughing. But dude, just having you on tonight has been amazing. We're gonna bullshit for like 15-20 minutes on a post show that I'm gonna post on Patreon here later on, and we're gonna close out some
real
stuff
quick because I know my parents are listening just one room away.
Come on.
So I'd like to invite them because I know they can hear me.
Yeah.
If you guys want to come in and introduce yourselves,
I would love that. I would love it.
There's a delay. I can hear it.
I repeat myself too a lot.
So here, we'll just do this way. And I don't know if we'll be able to pick something up, and I don't think it should be too loud out here. And hopefully it won't cross over.
Mm-hmm.
So is there anything you would like to say? This is one of my brother's nieces. There, let's get in better light. Come on in. This is my daughter Katie.
Oh. Hi.
And here's Allie and Brandon.
Whole family, look at
that. And they were huge when it came to their Uncle Bubba, and that's Mama. That's the start of all of it.
Oh, hi. Thank you guys for sharing who you guys shared with the church choir. I mean, Matt was definitely an amazing soul that we love still to this day. We never will stop.
Well, that's that was. Man, I got nothing. I'm speechless.
Well, man,
and that is hard to do.
I got some stuff that's gonna come up here in a minute that you're really gonna love.
Awesome.
So, I'm gonna sign off with you. You got a way to watch the rest of the show, right? For next like 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, I can go out there. They're watching it right in the next room.
Go watch with them for the next 10 minutes. I'm gonna just wrap up some stuff, and then I'm gonna send in our chat another link for you, Michael, Staples, and I to kind of just have a 20-minute final thought together, and we'll post it on Patreon here in a little bit. Awesome. So thank you so much for tuning in or hanging out with me tonight, and everybody else that tuned in. Thank you guys. It's been amazing, man. we could be here for another 2 hours sharing.
Oh,
I have
easily.
so many more photos left that I mean, I had 90 photos tonight. I mean, I keep on growing the photos, so I'm gonna try to share some on Patreon later on tonight. Just some photos that didn't make it the air tonight. So, but go watch with his parents and everything right now. What I'm gonna show. I'm gonna show a couple quick videos, and I'll send you a link here in a little bit, and we'll talk in like 10 minutes.
All right, sounds good, man. Appreciate
All right,
it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, man. So that, ladies and gentlemen, was Ed, and thank you so much for tuning in. If you guys did, if you remember on my Patreon, thank you guys. I couldn't thank you guys enough for everybody that's been out there. I'm overwhelmed by the support I've got by the choir. I got some really cool stuff like today. I got this mug. Like, I don't know, just some test stuff. I actually got an extra one. So if you are on Patreon tonight and you're like the private sponsor or higher, I'm going to give away one of our mugs for the show tonight. So if you're on there, this doesn't count as a December giveaway. Just as a little side thing. I think we got like 50 people. We just hit 50 Patreons or 60 Patreons today. So I'm just going to give away a show coffee mug if you're on there. I'll do the drawing later on tonight or tomorrow. So appreciate everybody for tuning in every week. I want to thank Arlo Revolution, Art on a Higher Wire, Janet Sloth, everybody that's supported me in this show. It's been amazing. I'm going to show a couple of videos, and I've put together. I put them together mainly for the Walsh family and just kind of as a tribute. The first one is just a bunch of photos. I wanted to do a really cool video, and I'm going to show that video here in a minute, but I had so many photos and so much overload of stuff that people send in to me, I had to do two. So I hope you guys enjoy these next two videos, and we're going to sign off after this. We're going to do a post show later on with a couple special guests, and we're going to put it on Patreon. So if you're over there, you're going to get to see the post show later tonight. But thank you for tuning in tonight, and I hope you guys enjoy these videos.
and an old song.
To the last night of the home tour. To the last night of Texas. Thank you for connecting melodies and memories for me. We miss you. We love you, Adam. Why?
have a cool friend like that.
Hey, Church Choir, this is Rob. Just checking in with Gainin Fast out of Memphis. We're here for a tribute to our friend Matt Walsh, who we lost way too soon. Matt was a great guy. Made me laugh 100 times in the times I've seen him. Damn, we miss him. Love you all.
It's Chris. I can't think of anybody who's ever had such a big impact on so many people in such a short amount of time. 3 or 4 days with you in Texas and Chicago were absolutely amazing. And you're somebody I will never forget. It was an honor meeting your mom, your brother, and all of your friends. And we'll see you on the other side. This one's for you, brother.
Matthew Scott, even though God only let you be a part of my life for a short time, you made an impact like no other. You came into my life during what I thought was the hardest thing I would ever go through. Saying goodbye to you was beyond pain I even fathomable. You taught me so many things. I try to remind myself of them each and every day. You brought adventure and spontaneity back into my life that had been missing for years. One of the things I admire most about you was your love for music. Our boots have definitely done their share of stomping together at countless concerts like Church, Stapleton, McBride, and Morgan. The day Garth played Notre Dame Stadium, we had been daydreaming at Mulligan's. We had no intention of going. 2 hours before the concert, Garth came on the jukebox, and we gave each other the nod. $8 later, we were walking in the rain and sleep on our way to the stadium with a bottle of Jameson in tow. Not a day goes by that a melody doesn't connect itself with a memory of you. We spent countless days and nights hijacking touch tunes, jamming out no matter who was looking. It was just you and I living in that moment. Some days the music makes me smile thinking of the memories. And other days the memories stream down my face, breaking my heart into pieces all over again. I now have a tattoo of angel wings and a broken halo on top of them. You are truly my broken halo, and you saved me. I will always remember your big heart and amazing soul. I never got the chance to say thank you for all that you did for me. Your memory will live on in my heart and through each note of the music we shared. I love you, Maddie.
The Gainin Fast on Memphis podcast with Aaron Shriver celebrates the music and fans of singer-songwriter Eric Church. Join Aaron again next week as he shares inside stories and life adventures with another amazing member of the church choir. And remember, everything you need to know about the world can be learned in the church choir. Thanks for joining in on the fun, and we'll catch you next time on the Gainin Fast on Memphis podcast with Aaron Shriver.